Hi, Captain Mike here with you again. Have you ever wished that you had all kinds of little round beads flattened on one side to use in different kind of projects? Well, I'm going to show you how I do it. Probably not the only way, probably not even the best way, but it's the way I do it. It all started with me with scrap glass. Had a lot of scrap glass, and I took it. These are bigger pieces, of course, but a lot of the scrap glass that I use is just tiny, tiny pieces. And I'd take it and I would put it on my microwave kiln and zap it, and it would turn into the little flattened, I call them eyeballs, but they're just little flattened beads. Problem was, I needed some of particular sizes, and that became an issue with using scrap that was already broken up, like stuff like that. It's just scrap. Because you had to trim it, and it was kind of hard to get it exactly how you wanted it. So I came up with two ways to do it. The first way that I started doing it was to use the bigger pieces of glass, put it on my glass cutting grid, and cut them to different square sizes. And you can cut them this is a 1/4 inch right here, and this is a 1/2 inch, 3/4, 1 inch, 1.5. And you can kind of, see, we can get a little closer to the camera, and that didn't work. You can kind of see how they do. They go into little round beads. A 1/2 inch and a half, it's problematic. It doesn't want it, sometimes wants to be an oval, and sometimes it'll go round. So I decided I'd cut the edges off of the piece of square. Didn't work much yet better either. But I very seldom need one this size, so I didn't push it very far. The sizes that I really need are the 1 inch, 3/4, 1/2 inch, and the smaller sizes. So, I could control a lot of things that way, and I'd get a good many eyeballs, if you will. And I said, well, let's see, what else can I do? What else do I have around here that might control the size differently? So I looked around all my other supplies, and I had, of course, these stringers. The stringers work really good for making small eyeballs, as do the noodles. Which noodles are getting harder to find, but their noodles are flattened stringers. That's all they are. And but they make little, I don't know if you can see that or not. That's awfully small. But that's there you go. That's a awfully small size, but I use a lot of those. I use a lot of those on different projects. The two most popular sizes I use are a 1/4 inch and the 1/2 inch, and I'll show you different things that you can do with them a little later. The other, I get off track real easy. The other thing that I found that I had in my supplies was some rods. Rods are simply 1/4 inch stringers, and I bought these at Hobby Lobby. It's nice to look at them before you buy them so you know what you're getting, but they work really great too, and here's how. Right here, that's a rod, and poor camera technique. That's the blue one is a rod. The one that rolled over there next to it is a stringer, and that is a noodle, and of course the others are just the way they or flattened, or regular pieces that I cut. And I put these in the microwave kiln about 15 minutes. And this is what you get. The 1.5 inches, as you can see, doesn't go to a circle. It would if you worked it long enough, but it didn't for this particular instance. But here are the rest of them, all the way around. They made nice little half beads, you could call them. Now, you don't have to do these in the microwave kiln. You can do them in your conventional kiln and just do hundreds at one time. And that's great. I just make them in my microwave kiln because I can make them, if I just need a few blue ones or I need a few green ones or whatever, or a particular size, I can just knock them out, and that works great. Now, don't confuse those with these that you buy at Hobby Lobby. They're beautiful. I have made things out of them, but they are an unknown glass type. So if you use these in your projects, in place of making the your ones out of known COE glass, it's problematic. You could have some issues, and don't go ruin something you've got a lot of time in. Ask me how I know. This is one of the projects that I use all of these little dots in. I make a good many of these butterflies, and I just run them around the edges here, and they work really good for that. Another one that I'm working on now for a friend who's passionate about ladybugs is like that, and you can just place them around. Any number of things. You're a glass artist. You know what to do. All you need to do is how to make them if you don't know how, and that's all you have to have. Is you have to have the glass, a way to heat them up to the temperature to make them go round. All glass wants to be round. It wants to be 1/4 inch thick. Keep that in mind. And you can make them all kinds of ways. These right here are dichroic. It's hard to tell. Dichroic does funny things when you heat it this hot to do this, or for this long, whatever. But those are dichroic. They worked great. I have just tons and tons of these things that I do. All different colors, all different sizes. You know, I just make them when I have nothing else to do. Now, with all that said, I'm going to tell you a couple of things that you're going to have to be aware of, and then we're going to call this video made. And that is, if you want to make, say, eyeballs for whatever kind of little thing you're going to make, I start off by taking a 1/4 inch piece of glass. It works best this way. Not the only way, it's my way. I take a 1/4 inch piece of glass and I put a stringer of my color on the glass that I have chosen, whatever color, in this case yellow and red, white and red. I super glue it on so it won't roll around, and then I zap it for about 15 minutes, and the results are little eyeballs. And you know, you can also do put a smaller piece in there, a little square piece, and it'll make a round pupil in the eyeball. Kind of like that right there, like that piece of milliflora. Made a little eyeball. Now, with that said, sometimes these things are going to want to misbehave, and they're going to do things like this. They don't go round, and you're going to get a good many of those. And in this case, I think it's because I had them sitting on some shelf paper that got caught up in the process of the going from square to round, and it pulled it. So what I do with these is I take them over to my grinder, and I grind them around, get all the shelf paper off of them, and then I fire them again, and they go round. Waste nothing, waste nothing. So pretty much that's it. I keep these kilns going all the time. Well, not all the time, you know that's not true, but I keep them going a good bit of the time. When I'm bored doing something else, or I'm putting some glaze on some pottery or something, or I have a great idea, I fire these microwave kilns up and I make these things. So that's how I make the glass. Make sure you don't mix it. If you use COE 90, make sure that's what these are made out of. If you're going to put them on a COE 90 project, if you use 96, same thing. Make sure everything is compatible. If you don't, these little pieces of glass right here can crack an entire large project, and you don't want that to happen. So that's it. Me and my little ladybug say that is our video on how to make little glass beads, or whatever you want to call them, eyeballs, and they're a lot of fun. Take your scrap and get started. I'm Captain Mike. That's my video for today, and I'm out of here.